find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Happy Friday, everyone. We have made it. It's been everyone I've talked to this for, and we were just talking offline here, and I need to get this off of here real quickly, it's just been a weird ass week. That's the only way I can explain it. I was talking to someone, Russell, you, and then even another meeting I had this morning, and it was just, what is in the air right now? It's so crazy. But we're in here. We've made it to the Furniss Fast Lane. I have got the one and only Russell B. Hill. We've got him in here, and we are talking all about the episode that's dropped. But before we do, Russell, we've got some comments rolling in here, quite a few comments. And so we got to get to these, and then we're going to kick it off. So first and foremost, Peter's saying, looking forward to the show. Watched the full podcast last night. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Love you, Peter.
Yes, Peter. I could agree more. This episode was, as I kind of just said yesterday, I didn't expect it to go that way, and it was perfectly done. Like it was, yes, if you have not had a chance to go listen or watch it, I highly encourage you all to, just because it's that good of an episode. Charity, this is going to be a great show. Couldn't agree more on that one. 100% on that one. And we have the one and only birthday boy, Barry Feldman. Very, very excited to have him in here. And I think that you might know this person. Can I go on a limb and say you might know this one? It says hi,
yes.
Happy Friday.
Yes. Hello, Leanne.
And BZ Superheroes and Consulting. Yeah.
That's my buddy right there. Tony T.
Yeah, Tony. He's at my direction. He's in Wisconsin. So let's just start this bad boy off. And such an awesome topic and everything we discussed today or yesterday. But what was one of your main takeaways from the incredible episode and the knowledge that you dropped yesterday?
Well, one of the main takeaways, it should be for everybody. I mean, we're not human beings occasionally having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings that are having a human experience. And I think that's really important because, look, we all have trials, tribulations in life and stuff like that. Now, recently, for a lot of different reasons, I've let myself become more vulnerable and start sharing more about my sordid past, which really isn't so much sordid from a lot of people, particularly in this industry. But hey, we all have things that happen in our lives, and it's a matter of what we do with them and where we go with them. Most people would probably their jaws would drop if they knew the whole story, and they will eventually in a book. But right now, just bits and pieces of it because, it's about overcoming. It's about, is this day one, or one day are we going to make something happen? We just got to get after it. Today is the only day that counts.
Amen to that one. And apparently it's Charity's birthday as well. So
my gosh.
She's saying it's my birthday too.
Oh my gosh, happy birthday.
See, I don't know if the JK means it really is my birthday or if not, but we're just going to go like Jeff Ravella, like every day's your birthday. So let's go with that. So happy birthday if it is, in fact, even if it's not, happy birthday at some point in the next 365 days. So
exactly.
I had said a little bit here yesterday about how that we have show notes beforehand. Anyone that's been on the show previously, I'm a little OCD on how things are done. Having things, not scripted.
No.
Give everyone a chance. Me OCD,
Yeah.
never. And it was the first question on the gate, and I just go, "All right, let's do this." Oh, apparently it was a joke, but Charity, it's still your birthday because everyone. It seems like that's a theme on the show. That's birthdays every day, but it. At the time we were talking offline, some of the other things that have been going on in life, and I just go, man, this was no idea that it was going to go that direction. Then today, and everyone, I want you all to give Peter, I'm looking at Peter, Patrick, hi Patrick, hey Patrick, but everyone to understand that if you have watched the episode and consumed it, then you'll understand that today, and I know you said it was another day, but to me, it's not another day. Like today is your 29th anniversary being clean and
Oh,
sober.
yes. Yes.
So talk about because we talk so much about this.
29 year today, December 1st, 1994, a day that will live in infamy. No, there's two important dates in my life. One, the day I was born, and the second, the day I figured out why. And that was the day I figured out why. And it was all about giving back and being a servant and realizing that everything that I do impacts somebody, period.
Yep.
And
Amen.
Words are powerful, very, very powerful.
Yes.
So, I mean, we could talk about AI and we could talk about what my company does and stuff like that. And that's all well and fine. But on the human side of things, I'd like to mix it up a little bit. So that's why I've recently started becoming much more vulnerable and not telling everything. But, hey, so people can say, hey, well, if he can do it, I can do it. That's right. You can.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And I know a lot of the episode was around, I mean, we talked about so many different things, but there was a good portion about just overcoming addiction and the personal transformation. And I loved how you went into that because there's so many different levels of, hey, too often we think that addiction is, it's drugs and alcohol. It's a lot more than that. You could be addicted to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And then overcoming that and how it was, hey, I'm not going to continue to blame other people and the importance of that personal responsibility and self-reflection. I loved how you went into that. I'm going to go into that at all.
So you want me to go? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, let's have at it. Yeah.
I think it's really important. So I had I tried and tried and tried. I was telling Brooke a little bit. Of course, there's more intimate, eye-opening, but 7 treatment programs, two halfway houses, and 6.5 years locked up. And here I am today, 29 years later. And I realized that most don't really get this, but I had to, I was also telling Brooke that I speak a lot, and tell my story in other places. And everybody's heard the term clean and sober because this disease affects everybody, directly or indirectly. And most people would raise their hands when I ask them, do they think they're the same? And they're not. Clean is just not using, and sobriety is a way of life. And I had this particular moment where I was on the balcony and I was ready to end my life. There was a lot more going on than just that. I grew up in the church, always believed in God, just never knew what it meant to have a relationship with that side of things. And, I'm sure this never happened to anybody else, but I always made deals, right? God, if you just do this, I'll do this, this, and that, all the false promises. But, it doesn't work that way. Some people think it does, but it doesn't. So I'm getting ready to end. It's the first time it ever happened, even though I was committing suicide anyway, slowly, because I was an intravenous user. So it was really pretty bad. And I remember kneeling and really asking for help, just me. And in that moment, I had a burning bush type of moment. I can't tell you if it was 10 minutes or 30 minutes, but in that moment, I was not high or drunk anymore. And the obsession for alcohol and drugs that consumed me for 34 years before that was completely gone. I have not had it since. That doesn't mean I don't think about those things. I just don't act on them because I have tools in my arsenal. But in that moment, it was over. And I actually surrendered. I mean, for everything. I realized in that moment that I was responsible for everything up until that moment, and nobody else could help me but me. Mm-hmm. And so that was a defining moment where I grew up. And today, when I'm talking to people, I have the saying, if the branches are bare, au contraire, I don't go there. And I have that saying because I don't mind talking to people, but when I start talking to them and they want to tell me about their past instead of where they're at today, where they'd like to go, I want to help people go to the next level. If they don't want it, that's okay. I love you where you're at and move on down the road. But I realized that people, it's not my father's fault. It's not the politician's fault. It's not the police fault. It's not my wife's fault. It's not my kid. It's my fault. I'm the one that made the choices that led to where I was at in that moment. If something was going to change, something had to change. And I did some real soul searching and digging. I'm not saying it's this way for everybody, but I had there's one particular step, a searching and fearless moral inventory of your life. And it required a lot of work. And I'm going to tell you that people that were at the level that I was, and if it's a 12-step program, there's other programs that work. I'm not saying 12-step is the only thing, but it's what worked for me because I tried the 7 other ones and they didn't work for me. And that was, I had to go all the way back to my earliest memories. And what I realized is I built a foundation on lies of what I thought about my father and my parents and the school system and my siblings. And each time that I would turn that over in my head or talk about it or tell somebody the story, it seemed to morph and twist. And I think that over years, I hope you all would agree with me, most people don't really remember exactly what happened because they've told the story so many times and it takes a different twist. But one thing you'll never forget is how it made you feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's everlasting. So I had to let go of a lot. I had to learn about acceptance and amends and the impact that I had on other people and the impact I had on myself. I got all kinds of stuff in here, self-affirmations that nobody can see right now, but it's really important. I'm going to finish up with this. People say, well, Russell, how do you get what you got today? Very successful, multi-million-dollar company, love what we're doing, etc. And it didn't happen overnight. I've been at this 23 years. They say, well, how do you get there? Well, we all know the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. Everybody's heard that. Everybody's heard that. But nobody really knows what it takes. Procrastination is a killer. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact is, you really only do have today. And it may not even be the whole day. You never know when it's going to happen. But I can tell you this. There's 3 things that are going to dictate a different tomorrow. That's it. 3 things. What you read, what you listen to, and who you associate with. New input will dictate a new output. And you can't wait till tomorrow. You can't wait for the right circumstances. You just got to get after it. You got to get outside of your comfort zone because I am a sum total and all of you are a sum total of where you're at today based upon everything that happened up until this moment. And I'm going to tell you, the greatest predictor of future behavior is previous behavior. Real easy to understand unless those 3 things are going on in somebody's life. So I make it this is a hard drive. And it's been corrupted by a lot of bad software over the years. And it's an everyday thing. It never stops. So just a little bit.
No, it's so true. And for those that are, hey, wasn't this more about not just life lessons, but personal growth and taking risks? Well, yeah, 100% it is. But what he is saying is to know yourself. Like, and we talked a lot about this. And for me personally, at least I can attest to that, is that if someone says they have a perfect childhood, I'm sorry, you did not. That's great that you think that and you feel that you didn't. No life's perfect. No human is perfect. So therefore you can't have a perfect whatever. And so really going back and saying, are you blaming others? And I really like that you went into this because it hits home for a lot of reasons in my personal life. And you look at other people that are just continuously making excuses for how things didn't go that way. I'm sorry, I don't care how great or how horrible your hand that you were dealt. It doesn't mean that you, at some point, if you truly want to grow, you stop using that as a crutch and decide that, hey, maybe I can do this on my own. Because I definitely, and I do not talk about this publicly, I did not have a great childhood. My childhood was horrible, absolutely horrible. Now, there was a time where when I was still very young, I was like, hey, okay, well, that's because of this and this. I'm like, no, it's not actually, Brooke, because I wasn't an adult. I was still like a teenager at this point. I go, why don't you just accept the shit that happened and move on with it? Like, yes, still deal with it, but understand. And we talked about this as well. It's like, does it mean that I want to go back and relive all that crap? No, I don't.
No.
Does it mean that I wish that on anybody? No, definitely do not. All that being said, was without all those experiences, I am not who I am today. And for that, I'm forever grateful. I was able to, I was talking to Damian Brador about this a little bit, that just in general, like he goes, but that's when you found your voice. At a very, at 8 years of age, you understood that you found your voice. I was like, it's true. And without all of that, I mean, overcoming that, and it's like, you look back and statistically, I shouldn't be here. None of my family should be here, but we are, and we survived it. The question are, did you just survive, or are you thriving in this thing called life? And everybody gets thrown challenges, and if you think yours is the worst, it's not. There's someone
No,
that's going to have it worse. I guarantee you.
no,
Guarantee you.
it's not. I also talk about the stepping outside your comfort zone. I like comfortable things. I'm not talking about those things. Okay. I'm talking about stretching. I'm talking about success is a progressive realization of a worthwhile dream. And dreams are all fine, but it has to go from vapor to paper. You got to write it down and you got to clarify it. And there's certain things that you have to do, I believe. So early on, right after I started in recovery, I met this multi-millionaire, and he was a fascinating guy. And I didn't even know he was really approachable, but I approached him anyway. And I said, "Hey, I'd like to take you to lunch and talk to you about how you got where you got." And surprisingly, he said, "Sure, absolutely." So we sat down, and this is the way I remembered it. And we're talking, and it was a great conversation. He agreed to meet with me again. So we met again, and he made it perfectly clear that what is fixing to happen. He said, "Russell, are you willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do so you can have and become the things that most people will never have and never become? What are you willing to do? Because I'm going to make you stretch. I'm going to make you stretch so much, you're not going to want to do it. And the next time we meet, whatever I suggest to you, because listen, I don't want what you got. You want what I want, or what I got. So I'm going to make some suggestions, and they're not going to be comfortable at all. And if you don't follow my suggestions, or at least give it a try, then we're not going to meet anymore, because I don't have time for it. I only have time for people that want to keep moving." That was pretty powerful. So he handed me a book. I didn't know what was going on at the time. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And he said, "I want you to read 15 minutes a day until we get back together." I said, "Oh yeah, no. Not 14 and a half, not 15 and a half, not finish the chapter, not finish the page. Stop at 15 minutes. He said, "If you'll do that just to get started, and the stuff that we're going to do over the next year, I promise you in 1 year, your life will be completely transformed." It wasn't even 6 months, and my life was transformed. He got me so outside of my comfort zone because he explained, I got to use some hand gestures here. So here I am in my comfort zone. Now, I don't know about a lot of you, but so I'm surrounded by friends and work people and family and church or social groups that I'm in, and everybody's in this circle, and they all know where I'm at and what I'm doing every day. Everybody's comfortable with what everybody else is doing. When I decided to stretch, to go out on the other side, because there's only two types of fear: fear of what you know and fear of what you don't know. Most people, even though the consequences are dire, because they know what they are, they won't even take the chance of walking through the unknown. But I did. And as soon as I did, because I didn't know what was on the other side, and I'm telling you what's on the other side, if you're associating with the right people, they're going to say, "Hey, you know what? I love you. I like that idea. I trust you. Let me introduce you to this person. Let me introduce you to that person." And my world completely transformed. But at the same time, I alienated, according to the people that I was in that circle with, I alienated them because they said, "Russell, oh, you can't do that, man. I tried that. That won't work." And they got interrupted by somebody who just did. You see, it wasn't about me getting outside of my comfort zone and stretching. I disrupted their comfort zone because I wasn't there anymore. Just one example, anyway.
And it's when you change that dance. I've said to I don't think I've ever said it on here, but it's friends in general are going through rough times or just trying to find whatever. And
Yeah,
at some point, you have to. It's a dance, and so either you decide to lead, or you're going to follow, or you're going to change the dance. Because once you decide to make that transition and say, "You know what? I don't want to do this one anymore. I want to do this over here," the partner, whoever that may be, it could be a spouse,
sure.
a significant other, friend, a colleague, whatever it is, they have to decide, am I going to continue to stay in that dance with you, or am I going to now break away and find a new partner? And that's fine. If they do, then great. Then you've got your answer on what you needed to do and stay away from
Exactly.
that person. But it really is that this dance of life. Before we jump into this next part, I just want to real quickly. I kind of talked about this yesterday, kind of a break in here a little bit about, and this doesn't take up the full screen, so we're going to go with this. Is that Katie Mayers is doing this awesome virtual conference? It's December 5th. Sorry, December 15th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so here in a little bit, it's all virtual. If you're interested at all, right here. You've got the ladiestakecontrol.com. And if you would like to go as well, there's still tickets available. Use the promo Take Control 25 to get 25% off. It's our virtual. I know we're going into the middle of the month at that point. So if you're like, hey, I'd love to be a part of it, but I can't attend and be there at the time. No worries. If you sign up for it, you will 100% get all of the videos beforehand. I'm speaking there. Ed Roberts is speaking. You've got just some powerhouse women that are speaking as well. So should be a really good one, everyone. If you, like I said, December 15th, it's only $50. Take the 25% off. Do yourself a favor, go check it out.
Ed Roberts is not a woman.
No, he's not. I said both.
Okay, I know. I'm just joking.
There's someone else I can't remember. She's got two others. She actually pull this up right now. I can't remember who all is there, but there's just a powerhouse of individuals. So we've got Laurel Langamer. I'm sure I'm 100% slaughtering her name. We've got Sharon Lecter. We've got Alyssa Maloney. You've got Kathy Gilbert, who's with Women in Automotive. You've got Lisa Copeland. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And
powerhouse.
Yes, we've got Eric Swans. I mean, there's all sorts of people. So definitely, if you are interested in all, and you should be, go check it out. Once again, that's ladiestakecontrol.com. And if you want the 25% off, because who doesn't, it's Take Control 25.
That's right.
And so back to our regular schedule program. So we've talked about some really personal stuff here. We've talked about, I'll say almost like the feelings portion of it. One thing that I liked about we talked about was, hey, let's talk about that professional growth and taking risks, because in life you need to do that. But also, whether you are the CEO, you're the founder, I'm just starting out in a job, taking that professional growth is so big, and it comes with challenges because, as you and I discussed, like, you got a target on your back when you get to the top, or or as you're climbing, there are targets on your back like crazy. So I don't know if you want to talk about that at all.
I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
Do you want to talk about the professional growth and taking risk, and like how you've done that in your own business?
Yeah. So a lot of it has to do with the foundation I just told you. And I still struggle with a lot of things today, but I know it's really important for me to stay in my own lane and run my own race. I can't be anybody else. I'm focusing on being the very best version of me. What has helped me accelerate that is by being of service to other people, helping as many people as I can. I'm not an island, and neither is anybody else out there. We're surrounded by people. Every decision we make affects somebody around us, and we need to be really careful. And what I mean by that is that I used to so when I make decisions, am I making decisions at the expense of other people where I win, or do other people win and I win? One is disastrous and the other's extremely successful. It's really the basic formula that I use. I make sure that other people around me win. We've all heard biblical stuff like it's better to give than to receive. You can't keep it unless you give it away. It's cliche. And where does that come from? It means it's true. It's actually true. When I start getting really down or something, I reach out and talk to somebody and help somebody else out. And then I don't think about my own stuff. But professionally, I had a lot stacked against me because I never even finished junior high, never went to high school. I'm well educated, mostly from the street, but I went back and I did a lot of reading, self-development. I went back to school, got my GED, took college courses, all that kind of stuff, but I don't have a degree in anything except life. That's what my degree's in. But I just continually, I want things all the time. I got stuff written down everywhere, because I want to remind myself of what I'm actually doing. And ultimately, I'm doing things for my family. I'm very blessed. I have 3 beautiful kids, 4 grandkids. They all live within 9.5 minutes of us. And I want to be the very best example for my family that I can possibly be. And one thing that happens, most people will find this probably hard to believe, but it all has to do with how I handle myself professionally too. My wife and I don't have knockdown dragouts at all. This is my 3rd marriage. Trust me, I know what they are. I've had them. What do I mean by that? So when I'm emotionally distraught, I'm the emotional one in the family, incidentally. But when I get that way, I can't think logically. So when my wife and I first got together, she would try to engage me like, okay, what's going on? It's all, I can make it quickly all about something you did or didn't do because I love you and you're the closest one to me. And here's what typically happens when you start that out, when you can't think logically, you're going to say something that's going to piss that other person off, and then they're going to attack you and you're going to attack them. May not happen right then and there. Then you're talking about separation and all this other kind of stuff. Next thing you know, you're talking about divorce. Guess what eventually happens? you're divorced.
Mhm.
Words have power. Oh, that's water under, it ain't water under the bridge, man. Don't say it. So I asked her early on before we even got married, when I'm this way, don't engage me.
Hmm.
Let me be, just don't engage me, because I'm going to make it all about you. She understood what I was saying. And so it's most of the time it's minutes later. I literally will go into the bathroom and look in the mirror, and I'll be so thankful I did not say what was on my mind at that moment, because you can't take it back. Well, I conduct my business life like that as much as possible too. And it's very, very important when you're building a business. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me.
It's all good, all good. No, but to your point, that communication, I don't care if it's in personal life, it's in business, whatever, it is so key. I had a professor in college that he and his wife had a, when I say happy marriage, I think too often that gets construed as everything was perfect. No,
Yeah.
nothing. You can be married for
No.
30 years and have 25 of them be good. And when I first heard that, I was like, "Well, I don't understand." Then get in a relationship and get back to me on that one.
It's really amazing, because love is an action word. So it's
Yes.
something that you have to get up and choose to do every single day. And people sometimes confuse, this may be too much for some people, lust and infatuation. Those are certainly feelings. But when the rubber meets the road is when you choose to love that person and you wake up next to him every morning. It's not all a bed of roses, is it?
Mm-mm. No, it
No,
is
it
not.
takes work. It takes work. If
Hardest
you're
thing to do.
arguing about the toilet paper being right side up or the other side, or squeezing the toothpaste from the middle, and those are things you're focusing on, you're wrong.
Yeah, there are bigger things in life.
Yeah.
So
Way many other things in life. But
but too, going back to this professor, I remember
right.
he was telling this story about how he and his wife were taking a walk, and she just got really quiet. And he's like, "Oh shit, what did I do?" Like his first thought was, "What did I do wrong?" And he just is asking her like, "What's wrong?" And he thought it was going to be something along those lines, when in fact she's like, "Oh no, the way the light is hitting the street, it makes it look like Venetian blinds." And he's like, "Oh," but like to that extent, if you're not having that conversation with someone and figuring out, okay, what matters to you? What do you want to see done? All those questions, and especially a lot of times as females, we overanalyze things, to say the least. So just ask the person, whether that's a male, another female, whether it's worker, coworker, whatever it may be. But in order to progress, that communication
Oh my gosh.
has to happen. It is so imperative to have that. We also were talking about on the show how you go about, even as I'll say, like we talked about the professional level, having those people that you can turn to that are going to not only communicate with you, but also tell you, hey, you're right on track with it. Hey, no, you're out in center field, like left center field, like you're not even remotely close to what you should be doing. How about doing this? But having those group of people around you
Well,
to
powerful.
hold you accountable, to say, try doing this, don't do this one. Hey, and that's even, I'm sure a lot of us, those professional mentors also have become pretty good friends to us. So we can go with them with personal information as well, and be like, hey, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that. What are your thoughts on this? And have them guide you. But it's so incredibly, going back to the three things that you said that will change, what's going to change you is surrounding yourself with people, those good people. Because I will tell you that I can go back to times when maybe I was associating with a group or a person, and I look back, I was like, man, that's not me at all. Like, but because I was around those people, I did X or I did whatever. And you just find yourself. And so as we're so young taught, hey, it doesn't really matter. Be careful with the people with whom you associate, your friends. And as a kid, you don't understand that. When you
No.
get older, it's so true. And even from a professional standpoint, I can't remember where I heard this, but like, hey, make sure if you want to be a millionaire, let's say, or you want to be whatever, or you want to be a successful, whatever success looks like to you, make sure you're associating yourself with those people, because they have the same goals in mind of like, hey, I want to be aspired to be
You have
this.
to.
Have to. Otherwise, what are you doing? It's so key.
Yeah. So here's an example of what some of my close friends, they can be candid with me. The old friends I had that weren't really friends, everybody just abused and used everybody else. But the friends I have today, they'll call me out, and that's really important to me. So I'm going to give you another example of somebody that's going through a difficult time with their spouse. Okay, there's three people they talk to get advice from, because they're going through all this turmoil, right? Somebody that has that's in a marriage that's sick as a puppy, and au contraire, don't go there. You're not going to get the right information. They're going to side with you. Second one is somebody that's not in a relationship or have any long term, and you're asking them for advice and to validate your side of things. Wrong person to talk to. And the third one is people that are in and out of relationships all the time. There's no stability there. They got their own demons. Wrong person to talk to. You need to find people that got fruit on the tree, period. Because if the branches are bare, I'm serious, don't go there. You're not going to get the right information. You need to give information people that will listen to understand instead of listen to respond. And sometimes the information I get cuts really hard, and I get emotional sometimes, but it's a wake-up call.
Yeah. Amen, man. It is. And understand when you do have that circle around you that is there for your best interest, that whatever they're saying is coming out of love. And there's a
Yep.
big difference between someone that's doing it out of jealousy
Yep.
or someone that's doing it out of pain and angst and what have you. But when even if they're going through a difficult time, I know that the intent of what they're saying is done out of love. So whether that's
We know, don't we, Brooke?
yes. Yes.
We really do.
So Russell, what other takeaways have we missed any? What else are we missing here?
Well, success doesn't happen overnight. It is a progressive realization. I think it's important to identify. Here's what I remember, and everybody else in here remembers. When you're Russell, my pastor. Oh, I love that. When I lost my train. Okay. So when we're growing up, you remember talking to your friends, we had all these dreams and aspirations, and we're going to go out and conquer the world. And that just takes on a life of its own by the time you get into high school, and you're going to go to college, get these degrees, and you're going to conquer the world. And then you end up, you go into the workforce and you trade your time for money. And the older you get, that dream diminishes and diminishes and diminishes. And what that gentleman that I told you about earlier, Russell, are you willing to? My dreams were very emotional to me. I kept them locked up for so long. I was afraid to share them with anybody because they said, you can't do that. I tried that. That won't work. Remember, I mentioned that earlier. So he helped me unlock that inside of me. And the older we get, the harder it is to pull out of somebody. It's important. If you can't define it, have somebody help you define it by asking you questions and walking you through some things. But I'm going to tell you something. Be prepared to be vulnerable, because when you trust people, you're going to get spanked. You're going to get hurt. We're humans. We still put people on a pedestal, and guess what? They let us down. So I'm real careful with never, ever, and always, and if I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Those are really, really powerful. When somebody says, I will never do that again. Are you freaking kidding me? How can you say you will never do that again? Anyway, it's very important to crystallize what it is you want, and then get with somebody who can at least get you started. Man, I used to have stuff plastered on my ceiling of goals that I was trying to achieve. So when I laid back at night to go to bed, that was the last thing I saw. It was the first thing I saw when I woke up. Or how about this? I'm just using the Cadillac as an example. I wouldn't have one today. But let's say that you wanted this particular Cadillac and you had a 1976 Ford Pinto. Go test drive. No. People don't want to go I can never afford that. Well, that's the wrong way to think anyway.
Yeah.
Why don't you go look at it and test drive it and keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So you're so comfortable getting in that thing that you become uncomfortable getting back in your Ford Pinto, and you realize you're going to do whatever it takes to get that. At least start there. It could be a physical thing, but success is not just about money or material things.
No,
Keep in mind, the ingredient is other people must win that you surround yourself with, or you lose.
And I too often, I don't want to say Phil, it's just too often I see this, is exactly what you're saying, is that, okay, well, in order for me to get here, I got to go take out the legs of everybody else. Well, no, that's not
Wrong.
You know what I mean? Let's take our industry, for instance. There are so many great ad agency companies. There's so many great blah, 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 insert whatever. There is room enough for all of us. When I see this scarcity mindset of like, well, no, if Brooke can't succeed if I succeed. Well, actually, no, we can both actually link arms and get to the top together. And it actually works out better because now I made a friend out of it. I have a colleague out of it. I can ask questions to this person. But that's
terrible. That's terrible, but it is commonplace. There's enough
so
for everybody.
Yeah, so common. And it just drives
I'm
me
glad you
bonkers
said
when I
that,
see
Brooke.
this. It's super frustrating because I see it so often where even, hey, I work with people that are competing businesses. That's fine. How else are you, one, how else are you supposed to learn? And two,
Yeah.
that at some point they're going to probably need assistance. So you're there for them. Like
Yep.
it's just shocking to me that we see this as we have to annihilate
Man.
everyone, or
Yeah.
we got to put out someone else's light to make our light shine
You
brighter.
never know how it's going to come back on you. So I'll just say this, okay? Everybody out there knows I own a company called Fixed Ops Marketing. Don't jack with me because you can't compete. I'm just kidding. No, I really am about helping other, and it is. There's 17,300 franchise dealership. I don't know how many independents, and on and on and on. There's plenty for everybody. The mentality that you're going to take somebody out means that you're focusing so much on what the other person's doing. What are you doing?
Yep. And
What are
I
you
want to
doing?
be very clear. This doesn't just is a personal thing. This can be very large companies
Yes.
that are somehow threatened by a small company. Us small businesses have definitely I will still more than likely have been in that position. So it's all across the board. It's like, why are you, one, I guess it validates what we're doing is right. But number two is like, shouldn't you be focused on growing your company? Shouldn't you be focused on bettering your people? Shouldn't you be focused on bettering yourself versus trying to come at me or come at whatever?
Yeah, and I was that way. And it does take time. Even my sobriety, even my walk in sobriety, there was moments that way because this is my third company, and this isn't an overnight thing. And I remember times where I thought there's only about 3 things I do really well, and I like to spend about 80% of my time there. It used to be the flip. I'd spend 80% of my time trying to understand what everybody in the company, so I knew just as much or more that they did, so I could lead them down the primrose path. Well, the fact remains is that's a stupid ideology, because my thought today, and it's a learned thing, right? We're all in different stages, is that I need to surround myself with people who know as much as I do or more than that. Leanne, I can't do what Leanne does. Oh my gosh, Charity, our chief marketing officer, Patrick,
incredible.
and his talents and capabilities. And I can't see everybody else in the room, or I promise I would call you out because somehow or another you've been a part of my life in some way, form, or fashion. And I love each and every one of you, and thank you.
Yeah, there's just so much to take away from the entire episode. I mean, as I'm going to throw Brian's comment, he's like, "Wow, deep today, love it." Like, yes, today is not the prototypical one in the episode that just dropped, and that's kind of like when I was talking about yesterday on the walk and talk, just that it was so needed, and for someone, I envision this being an episode that people listen to multiple times, just because there's so many life lessons from it. Just that. Yes, business part is great, but if you don't, I'll say, love yourself, if you're not secure with who you are, it just spells disasters, because you're going to start now bringing people around you that are going to manifest and to agree with you or whatever it may be.
Right.
So just understand that to set that ego aside. I'm going to bring up Patrick's comment here real quickly. There's enough room for everyone to live and thrive. The idea that we have to eliminate competition to survive is a plague on our souls. Yes, it is. And Charity, this is, even though it's your birthday, not your birthday. Yes, we love you.
Well, I got, this might sound kind of cheesy. If we really don't know who we are and we're not running our own race, and if you don't love and you don't trust and you don't respect and honor yourself, how can you give something away you don't have?
Yep.
How can you possibly do that? That other person cannot give you that. That was a part of my problem. The biggest illusion I learned in life, and I still deal with it every single day, it's not that I figured it out, is that that I can control people, places, and things. That's the grandest illusion that I've learned. All I can really control, if you think about it, is how I act and react to people, places, and things. That's part of what the problem I had was. I tried to consume this whole with drugs and alcohol and people and criminal activity, everything. The more I tried to fill it, and the more I consumed, the larger the hole became, when I realized everything I already needed, I had inside of me.
Yep.
And
you've
I
got
let go.
Tony saying, "I'm from Wisconsin, love cheesy," so it's okay.
I love you. Yeah, this was definitely a little bit different episode. I mean, if people want to talk about business, we can do that. And this is business.
Yeah.
Look, if someone that's been through what I've been through, and some of you out there have been, it's okay to let people know about it and talk about it, because that's part of who I am. I'm not just a business owner. I'm a son. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I mean, all these things I am during the course of the day. But today I want you all to know, if I can do it, you all can do it. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. Most everybody in my company, well, most people know I'm an open book. I'll be as transparent and uplifting as I possibly can. And I don't have all the answers, but I can share my experience, strength, and hope, and hope that helps you.
I don't think you can ask for much more than that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, so I amen to all that. So I'm going through just like my mental checklist of things. And I those I'd say what the main takeaways for me, at least, it was just, I just encourage everyone for your own, for, for the uplifting of your soul, go listen to this episode, go watch it or listen, whatever your preference is, just because there's so much in it that you dive into. And I just go back to just thank you for, trusting the podcast enough to open up with that. I think when you said it was the first time that you mentioned anything like this publicly, and again, that was like 2 months ago, I think we filmed it, but I just can't thank you enough for being on the show and sharing your experiences with not only me, but the audience, because at that point, too, you said is that everybody learns from it. And there's so many people that are in the exact spot that you were and really do feel, and it's their reality, their perceptions of reality, that nobody else knows what I'm going through. No one else knows what it's like to be me. And then when you're at the end of that rope, bad things happen.
Yeah.
So I once again, just thank you so much for sharing your story, and just everyone for being on here and being a part of this. So thank you so much.
Isn't Brooke amazing? I gotta tell you, I don't know exactly when it happened or how it happened, but I showed up one Friday and I know this person, and I'm a comment guy. I'm engaging all of the time, and it's like, okay, let me ask you, be honest. If I miss an episode, do you know I'm not there?
Yeah, 100% I do. Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. I was like, I haven't seen it with the comments yet. And Amy, thank you so much. This was great. Thank you to both. Thank you, Amy. Super
Thanks,
appreciate
Amy.
you and all your support as well. No, it is. You definitely know. And I was talking to Larry Feldman about this, and he goes, if Russell can't make it to one of our lethal sales, I immediately am getting a text either before or after, but I'm definitely there to like let him know. And so I was like, that's Russell for you. We have Leanne saying this was awesome, Brooke. Russell, thank you for your sharing. Yes, thank you so much. And Patrick, great chat today. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for everyone being a part of this.
Yes.
Is there any parting things that you want to say?
You can do it. You can do it. If you didn't hear some of that today, you're in the wrong circles. Okay. And if this is not the stuff that you hear around the people you associate with, then reach out to Brooke, watch her podcast, reach out to the people she's associated with, or the people in this room. There's some amazing people that have changed my life. And it makes it a lot easier when you're surrounded with people that are honest and open and have character and integrity. And that's really what it's all about. I know a lot of us are in the car business. Listen, 38 years I've been in this business. You can blow it in a minute, but you don't have to. Mm-hmm. If you need help, you're struggling somewhere, reach out to me.
Amen. That's same. And I'm just going to leave this up with Brian. What a way to start the month.
Thank you, Brian. We don't know each other, but we're going to know each other real soon. Okay?
Oh, he's phenomenal. And Tony, I like your little weightlifter here, guy. That's awesome. Strong show today. I love it. We got Robert. Oh, Robert. Hello. These are two amazing people right here. Robert. Hey,
Robert.
So good to see you.
Listen, hey, if Robert makes it on here, he's a CMA guy. Let me tell you, Carter Myers, they're an awesome group. Robert, you're amazing, brother. Love you.
Yes, so much. And Robert, one of these days we'll get on the live, not the live, you were on the show, so you the live chat, but the walk and talk. He's always like, man, I get it after. I'm like, replay's still good. And Ian, thank you very much. And by the way, Ian, if you don't, we got a lot of podcast people on here. We got What the Fixed Ops over here, whatever direction it decides to flip. Yeah. And Ian and Jeff have a great show with the Auto Hub show every Monday at 10 a.m. So Ian, have a great day to you as well. Super appreciate it.
Thanks, Ian.
And I just, once again, just thank you so much for being a part of this and for sharing things that were maybe some others wouldn't share. So I super appreciate it and being a part of everything. And that, everyone, you know the deal at this point. We're not only going in December, but we are at a point of going to the end of the year. And I just, as always, find a way to serve today. Find a way to be the joy in somebody's life, whether that is opening a car door, whether that's a kind smile. Just find something. I mean, right now we're in a time where people are more thinking about this, but what happens in January? So just every day trying to find a way to serve somebody. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.